In a quiet country where rivers still remembered the sound of old songs and roads curved as if they were unsure where they wished to go, there lived a man named Elier, known to travelers as the man who returned lost names. Names, in this land, were not just words, they were anchors. To lose your name meant to forget who you were, what you loved, and why you mattered. And people lost their names more often than anyone liked to admit. Elier lived alone near a narrow bridge that most people crossed without looking down. Inside his small stone house were hundreds of wooden boxes, each carefully labeled with a single name written in faded ink. He found these names in strange places, carved into trees by children who had grown up too fast, whispered by dying elders, scribbled in abandoned notebooks, or hidden inside the silence of people who had stopped believing in themselves. When someone came to Elier, confused, empty, or broken, he listened, not to their words, but to the pauses between them. That was where lost names lived. One autumn morning, a woman named Mara arrived at the bridge. She had walked for days without knowing why. "I don't remember my name," she said quietly. Elier nodded as if this were the most ordinary thing in the world. He invited her inside, poured her tea, and asked her to tell him everything she remembered except her name. As she spoke of her childhood, her fears, her habit of helping others while forgetting herself, Elier opened box after box, comparing the echoes of her story to the names he had collected. At sunset, he found it. A small box at the back of the room. He placed it gently before her. Inside was a name written with care, along with a memory, a young girl promising herself she would never disappear just to keep others comfortable. Mara wept. When she spoke her name aloud for the first time in years, the room seemed to breathe. Word spread. People came from far away, artists who had abandoned their craft, parents who had lost themselves in duty, children forced to grow up too quickly. Elier returned their names, but always with a warning: a name only stays with you if you live it. Some walked away afraid. Others stayed and changed their lives. One winter, Elier grew ill. No one knew his real name. When he felt the end near, he walked to the bridge and carved a single word into the stone, not a name, but a truth: remember. When he was gone, people still crossed the bridge, and those who felt lost sometimes heard a whisper in the wind, not telling them who they were, but reminding them that they mattered. And so the man who returned lost names became a story himself, one that helped people find their way back to who they had always been.